doing a little laundry because I got back from SHOT Show and then went right to work and then did the single dad thing Monday through today. And now I'm getting ready for the California Custom Knife Show out there in Anaheim this weekend. You guys come out if you can. And if anybody wants to have dinner, holler. I'm going to be eating steak someplace. I've been doing this carnivore. I just started doing this carnivore diet because every friend that I've seen in the last 6 months who's done that is like fucking melted away and looks like their 25-year-old self. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna fucking do that. So I'm day 4 right now. Anyway, doing a little folding, grown-up style. I will have, as I explained yesterday, I will have a small brace of the very last Praetorians with me. And they've all been done in fallout fashion because that's kind of my jam right now, not because of the fires. I didn't expect that. I did these myself, so they're going to be signature series knives. I'm going to have 10 of them. That is it. And then I may bring a couple of the Main Street knives just so you guys get a chance to see those. They're pretty cool. I don't have all the sheaths made for everything yet. So it's kind of like I'm not really able to sell them just quite yet, but I can take orders for them. And I could show people what they're, I'll have some sample sheaths for a couple of the knives. But it's funny, sheaths are as much design and development work as knives are. So it's like you do a knife, then you do handles, and then you 3D model those, which is its own project, and then you sculpt those and see if you like them and lay hands on them. And then as soon as you've done that, you're into sheath time, and then you draw this theoretical sheath, but do you end up liking the way it interacts with the handle slabs? There's a bunch to it. It's more than people think. And when I explain it, people are like, oh shit, never thought of that. But it's a lot. So, I've got the 10 current fixed blades that are at mainstreetknife.com. You can check those out. It's really interesting the response I got at SHOT Show. People were like, how much are these? And I was like, $230. And they're like, oh my God. And they saw the sheath and they felt the handles and they saw the quality of the blade. And they were like, oh, holy shit. So I think for Medford Knife and Tool, it's kind of a game changer because I've always been obsessed with like penultimate quality. And what's crazy is I learned a lot of lessons, but you can kind of get caught up on like the last couple percent of perfect is wildly expensive. And then, you got to remember that 99.9% of customers, they don't even know the nuance that you've been chasing. So, one, you have to kind of like, there's this almost insurmountable boulder of comprehension that you have to lift. And you're never done lifting it because every new customer needs the same thing. So, like what's interesting is Porsche's been around a long time. I think most of you know I'm a Porsche fan. And Porsche's been around a long time, and for the uninitiated, it doesn't make sense. But there's so much info out there, and it's such a status thing. Most guys who get Porsches, quite frankly, they're not fucking Porsche dudes. They're status seekers. They're like dudes who are not really Swiss watch people. They just buy a Rolex because it thinks it makes them look rich or successful. Like, I'm really a Porsche driver. And guys, and so within the Porsche community, there's this subset of lunatics who drive our Porsches every day, and we're like, kind of obsessed with Porsches. And I've been that way for years. I've had a bunch of those cars, and it was funny, like nobody had to sell me on it. There's so much info out there, but knives, it's totally different. And the entire knife scene is dominated really in numbers. It's dominated by cheap, low quality crap. And everybody's getting their stuff made in China. The quality's gotten better over the years. And Riot is making some nice. You can get all these Chinese companies now to make a pretty good quality because they learned how from us. But the thing is like, that's our thing. I'm almost disappointed in people. And I've told guys who get stuff made in China, I'm disappointed because these guys learned how to make nice knives from us. And it's like showing the enemy how to shoot really well. There's lots of little mystery to knife making, and a lot of it's just somebody at the top being an obsessed lunatic, chasing little nuances and learning little tricks. But if you just brain dump that all on somebody and they do it, they haven't earned it. And it's just like so much that China does. And they are a hardworking, easy to work with, super industrious people. You got to respect them and you got to give them that. But they're also just dirty, rotten, copycat sons of bitches. And, I think everything they do is, there are small groups of people who are doing original things over there. But, if you watch Instagram, you see these videos. They've been making little pinch pots for tea the same way for 400 years. Not innovative. Amazing craftsmanship, not innovative. And there's a reason their government is funding so much digital espionage. And they're just stealing everything from us. And we just have our pants down like a bunch of morons. So I had a cybersecurity guy he was in cybersecurity, he came to work for me. And when he came to work for me, he set a backdoor thing up on my website so that I could see attempted penetrations of my security on the website. And what was interesting is there were I'm not kidding, 10 million of these interactions a day. I'm not exaggerating. It wasn't like 1,000 of them. It was like 10 or 20 million of these probing attacks on my website. And, I'm not sure exactly what their motive is, but they're basically trying to break in. And a lot of people's websites backdoor into their accounting. Even we have some automation into our accounting. When you place an order, we have some automation that connects the order to our accounting system. So I don't know if they're trying to find out finances and then compromise people. I don't know if they're trying to find out finances and then do acquisitions. I'm not sure if they don't find out how much money you have and then decide who to copy based on how much money they have. That would be one way of finding out, this company's doing really well. Let's just copy their products. So, the first Trump administration really, really put a stranglehold on all of that knockoff stuff. And then it was immediately, as soon as the Biden administration came in, it was immediately a free-for-all again. So I'm hoping, the best thing that could happen for China really is for them to stop copying and do things in their own right. And then when they do that, they'll have the respect of all of us, and then all we can say is let's fucking compete. But I just want fair competition. I see fair competition. Anyways, I get these knives. People are blown away by the pricing. We learned a lot of tricks. And my point in that rant I just went on is you kind of can get obsessed with little things that just matter to lunatics. And you spend a lot of money doing it. And at some point you can take a step back and say, nobody even notices all this stuff we do because we're not putting fucking turquoise, or we're not putting jewels in the fucking handles. So you can take a bunch of lessons you learn and really do what I did, which is kind of come up with a new product line and do something I've never focused on before. I've been singularly focused on the most perfect lockup, play, no play, perfect fit, lasts forever. And I still am like that with my Medford lineup, but I haven't been focused on value. And as the economy changed, and you got to remember, so I started my business back in 2010. So as it was moving forward, the economy's getting better and better, and there's more and more money in the marketplace. And you're like, that's what everyone was really driving. And who was driving was the the top 10%. And then everything changed. And eggs at, I mean, I just saw eggs at $10 for 18 eggs. And I was like, what the fuck? A gallon of milk was like 4.25. I bought 3 steaks. It was $76. You start looking and you go, wow, how do folks who've got just a straight paycheck coming on Friday, how the fuck do they do it? And you see gas. Hey there, Ephraim. You see gas at, I mean, it's come down the last year, but they were doing that prior to the election, right? Anyway, I saw these economic pressures really just constraining everybody, and I feel it, and I've seen my prices on my materials just go through the roof. So I just said, hey, let's do something I've never done before. Let's take everything I've learned knife making and let's try and do something affordable, like value oriented. And I showed them at the show last week, and people's jaws dropped. That they were like, what? This is $215? How the fuck are you doing that? And I just learned a bunch of stuff along the way over the last 15 years and put it all into play. I hope it works. I hope everybody likes it. The models are really cool. Go to Main Street Knives and check them out if you want. If you come out to the Southern California Custom Knife Show, which is down in Anaheim this weekend coming up, I'll be there, and I'll have my new lineup, and I'll have 10 of the last 40 Praetorians. I explained this yesterday, but when you decide to end a product line, you kind of have to announce it first. You can't stop taking orders on it because then it creates all this confusion in the marketplace. So you announce it, and then there's this reaction, and then you stop taking orders. And then there's still a lot of whip, which is work in progress. So this whip is all over the building. And sometimes it's kind of hard to nail down, So you say, okay, we've got 161 on order. And then we generally make about 5 to 10% overage for drops, scraps, and spares, parts and such, okay? And so you make this stuff, you do your last run, and you have this overage, and it's your best run you've ever made because you've been making it for years and you're the best at it. You've done it a lot of times. And so this overage, it's built in. So they can, hey boss, we got 40 extra Praetorian ties. We're all done. Everybody's got knives allocated. So they're still working on knives for some of you, but they're almost done and they're allocated. But there are 40 that were unallocated. And I go, oh, those are mine. They go, but no. I say, those are mine. Just bag them up, stick them off to the side. Those are for Greg. So this show, I'm bringing 10 of those knives done in the Fallout style. Everyone's a little unique, different placards, really cool. I did all of the sculpting and everything myself because it's totally fun. I like doing that kind of thing. I'll be there with those. I may bring some Main Street knives just so people get a sense of, the quality and the feel and what the knives are like. And then we're going to, I don't know, we'll see how the year goes. I mean, we've got distributors pawing at me for the new knives, so I think that's a good sign. Medford Knives never been scalable. It's only been buildable. It's not been scalable. By Main Street Knife is a much more scalable concept. Far fewer SKUs, very few options, and very, very makeable. And they don't have as much crazy goddamn custom nuance. So we got a lot of cool stuff going on. Black card knife. I know, just been asked about that. The black card knife is fantastic. So it's out of concept. It is in engineering, in review. Usually there's a little negotiation back and forth between me and them, but less so these days because we kind of speak each other's language fluently. And then we're just going to see how much contouring we're going to be putting on the outside of that. Let me see. British people, walnuts, and bestiality. Knife, British people being stabbed to be like. Yeah, can't quite read all of that. I think that's in reference to the stabbing in Great Britain, and now they're going to outlaw knives. They're going to make it really strict, so you got to really confirm your age. Because when you make laws about really confirming your age, people can't get a knife anywhere else, and the world becomes safer. All right, Uncle Greg's going to throw this out there. Do you know what's good for humanity? Death. It's coming for us all. Everybody has killed God, so they're all scared to fucking death. How do I know they're scared to death? They're all running their little fucking rabbit hearts out after work. They're all lifting, they're all trying to find out their morbidity indicators. They're all doing their blood work. They're doing this fucking therapy. They're doing that therapy. They're doing resistance training. They're trying this thing. They're trying that. They're getting rid of all their soap. They're getting rid of all their scent. They're going out of their fucking mind. And you know what? You are going to die in your own shit. If you're lucky, holding someone's hand, likely by yourself in a dark room. Everyone needs to calm the fuck down. Listen, we had an aviation tragedy last night. It's awful. There's a loss of life. They're my countrymen. Breaks my heart. And because of it, things will get safer. It's just the way it is. Like everything that happens, we learn from it. Whatever happened last night, cataclysmic meltdown. Now, you guys know I'm a commercially licensed pilot. I've done a lot of flying, all different kinds of aircraft. I've interacted with lots of military aviation, lots of civilian aviation. And what happened last night is a goddamn tragedy. Whatever they're letting happen over there, is, I don't know, it's mind-boggling to me. You know, we've got aircraft that fly over and under one another, but on approved flight paths, I don't know. I'm pretty sure there's not supposed to be helicopters flying in approved flight paths. And then if the aircraft is way too low, which is a possibility, I don't know, but it seems like where that crash was years ago. I don't know if you guys remember that. They were pulling all those people out of the water. Just seems like somebody fucked up royal, and it seems pretty obvious. So we'll see. I don't want to be too judgmental, but man, I know about commercial flight paths, and I know about airline flight paths and procedure a lot. And it looked to me like the airplane was completely doing the right thing. Now, if they were too low, in that case, Washington's got its buffer zones too close. I just saw the video. I saw a nighttime video of it. And I think Trump's first take on it on wherever he tweeted, I think is probably pretty accurate. Everybody needs to quit. We need to quit making laws to make the world safer, because just a lot of death happens. And actually, you know, death happens to all of us. And if we pass laws making everything ultimately safe, we should just sit around in levitating chairs and bubble around drinking soda like that movie Wall-E. You know, life's to be lived. It's adventurous. It's dangerous. It can be sedentary. It's still dangerous. Shit can happen. I know you see these videos on Instagram. You see these compilations of, you know, people, you know, getting killed in car accidents and crashes and all kinds of things. It's just dangerous out there. And it's fun. And it's amazing. And sometimes you get killed minding your own business. Great Britain and Europe, you know, Europe is basically they've given, what kind of people really want to go in government? What kind of people really want to be in charge of big, messy organizations? You know, these are narcissists. These are people who want to be loved. They're ne'er-do-wells. And as soon as they get in power, they start doing stupid things. And you see this example out in California. They elected this mayor who used to be part of the Weather Underground. She's basically a felon, who was a terrorist, a domestic terrorist. They've elected her. It's cute. And she's a failure. She couldn't even, I want you to imagine this. I don't know if you saw this stuff, but Trump was at this town hall talking to all the folks affected by the fires out in California. And these people all want to get on their property and start cleaning up. And so the city is only going to let them do it if they get a permit. They have to get a permit to clean up their property. And then Karen Bass's explanation is because we want to make sure you're safe. So I want to know how getting a permit from the city to go on my burned property in any way makes me safer. Maybe you have to hire a demolition crew at some exorbitant fee, some California bullshit exorbitant fee. What is it Karen Bass's office issuing you a permit's going to do? If I was the executive, I'd say, hey, listen, no permits required. You're welcome back to your property. The only condition is you have to be willing to show your ID to law enforcement to make sure looting is not there. One family at a time on one property, or multiple families from adjoining properties can be helping each other. That's it. Or licensed contractors. You got to do something to kind of maybe stop looting because of partially. I know they look like they all burn in the fucking ground. I don't know. But, it's the California. And so he's sitting there saying, hey, a week's too long. If these people are saying it's going to take 18 months, give them avoid, no permits required. Go back to your property. All I have to do is show your driver's license. And you could see that the elected representatives in California, they didn't even comprehend it. It's like they didn't even understand what he was saying. He's like, you don't need a permit. Let these people go back. They can clean up. There's no basements. These aren't high rises. There aren't big beams hanging down. Anyways, unbelievable. That's what's going on. I have a friend whose house was burned in Malibu partially several years ago. And he installed this big commercial sprinkler thing to pop up and put a cone of water over his house. Yeah, he's doing well. He's a grown up. He can do that kind of shit. Not everybody can do that. I get it. But there were dudes saving their houses with fucking hoses. These folks are out there. They're not even looking out for the people, the folks who've been elected in California. What they've done with the water, what they've done to manage property, what they have done to manage the wild, where the wild meets civilization. It's unconscionable. And they can make lots of excuses. And, my take on it is everything barely works. When everything's perfect, things barely work. Government barely works. Leadership barely works. Elon Musk's almost gone out of business several times. It barely works because you don't lead and do more than what's happening. You lead what is there. And if you get yourself 5% distracted by LGBTQ, diversity, equity, inclusion, hiring lesbians to be in charge, not because they're qualified, because they're lesbians, hiring crazy old black ladies because she's black and she's a woman and she gets those two demographics, instead of hiring the most competent person, if the most competent person's a 48-year-old white guy who used to be a contractor, that's who you should vote for. And this is what you get. You vote for these idiots at the government, at the state, municipal, and local level. It's unbelievable. So my friend puts this fire suppression system in around his house. It's coming back. I'm circling back. And he's like, well, if they turn off the water, I'm fucked. So he wants to put in a pool. So for 3 years in the city of Malibu, he's been applying for a pool permit. 3 years. He's been down there many times. The people changed. The permit's never issued. he was talking to me, and it's interesting. Even conservatives out in California sound like liberals to me. And he was talking about Trump, and I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, man, I love you, man, but your fucking Trump views are fucking ridiculous. And then he was telling me about his permit thing. And he's like, yeah, that's the way it is. And I'm like, build the fucking pool. Take the fine, build the fucking pool. Like, I would at some point just be like, hey, you know what? Fuck off town. I'm building my pool. Enough already. I'd pay some contractor and I'd take the hit. And they would find me and I'd say, okay, fuck you. I tried to get the permit for 3 years. Let me know how it goes. The people in California, not the folks out in real America, California, but around the cities, they're a bunch of sheep. And the governments are a bunch of oppressive, ne'er-do-well cunts. I don't know how else to say it. No, they won't make you take it out. You pay the fine. Almost nobody makes you take out construction. What you do is you record it and you make sure it's to code, you pay a fine, and then you get it back permitted. That's very, very common. And what are they going to, they can't even issue a permit. How are they going to take the pool out? Anyway, I'm going to be out in crazy California because it's this wonderful land with tons of wonderful people, basically run by morons. And even though 55 to 58% of that state is out of its goddamn fucking mind, it's a wonderful place. And even if it's only 42% are reasonable, that's a lot of people. Anyway, that's just my little rant for the day. Thought I'd say hi to you guys, let you know to come out to the show. Check out mainstreetknives.com. Somebody talking about my hair. My hair's been shaved for years. I've been shaving my head for 40. I've been shaving my head for 40 years. All right, you guys, I'm out. Have a great day. Greg Medford from Medford Knife, Main Street Knives. Come out and say hi if you're in California, and I'll show you some cool stuff. I'm out.